the Politico. And you'll have to, folks, I have been using my voice many more hours this week than I normally do, so I'm a little hoarse right now. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but in case you can, I apologize for it. I don't want it to be distracting. So the more you know in that regard, the least or the less distracting it'll be. Politico story. Insiders to Trump, no majority, no nomination. Republicans say it's 1,237 delegates or bust for Donald Trump. Now, I have to tell you, before I get into the details of this story, if you are interested in history, that has always been the way it is. You, in the primaries, you hit the number or exceed it, and the nomination is yours. If you don't hit the number, it isn't. It has never been the case. I don't think it has. I can't recall. The rules have never been changed to say that a plurality, if you get close enough, you've got to hit the number or exceed it. It's always been the case. And the powers that be in the Republican establishment are insisting it's going to be that way this time. A majority of Republican insiders say that Donald Trump should not get the nomination if he falls short of winning a majority of delegates, even if he amasses more than any of his opponents. And, of course, you would expect them to say that. That's according to the Politico Caucus. You know what the Political Caucus is? It's a bunch of establishment types. It's a panel of strategists, activists, and operatives in 7 key swing states. And roughly 6 in 10 Republicans said the party should nominate another candidate if Trump finishes with a plurality rather than the required 1,237. That's some polling data. That's not the Political Caucus here. 6 in 10, well, maybe it is. Maybe it is the caucus. 6 in 10 Republicans say the party should nominate another candidate if Trump finishes with a plurality. Wait just a second. Why should... no, hold it a minute. That's not right. That's essentially saying Trump's disqualified from whatever they do if he doesn't get to 1237. Well, that's what it is. They may not want it to sound that way. How else would you interpret this? 6 in 10 Republicans said the party should nominate another candidate if Trump finishes with a plurality rather than the 1,237. Well, okay, let's play this out. Trump doesn't get 1,237. Neither does Cruz. Nobody else does. So therefore, we go contested. Cruz and Trump are immediately disqualified from whatever the party does because neither of them got to 1237? Is that how they're going to plan to work this? That's crazy. I know that's how they're going to work it. Do not misunderstand. I can't believe they're admitting it. But what they're saying is if neither of these two get to, because they don't want either of these two, folks. They don't want Trump. They don't want Cruz. And so they're trying to say that if in the primary neither candidate gets 1237, they're going to take that as akin to the party rejecting both of them. And then meaning we got to go to somebody entirely new because the party did not choose either one of these. Well, why are either of these two going to be disqualified from participating in the contested convention should that happen? But make no mistake about it, that's the only way to read this. These guys are not going to get away with that. They may think they can, but Trump and Cruz are going to have too many delegates, too many pledged and loyal delegates to just be told, you know what? You guys, you've been running since last summer. Some of you even longer than that. But you know what? You didn't get 1237. So you're disqualified. So we're going to pick somebody who maybe didn't even run. Or we're going to pick a guy who got 4 or 5 delegates. We're going to pick a guy who ran but dropped out. You're going to really try to tell these two guys that? But you know darn well that's what they're angling at. Anyway, back to the Politico story. Virginia Republicans, like every respondent, was surveyed anonymously here. He's one of the political sources, but he's anonymous. A Virginia Republican said, rules is rules. You have to get a majority. That's a problem with our country. No one ever wins anymore. The question is central to the GOP calculus before the Cleveland convention. Should the party award the nomination to the candidate who wins the most delegates in total, as Trump has advocated, or stick to the rule that a candidate has to win 1237 or more in order to be the nominee? The majority of insiders who want the party to choose somebody else if Trump doesn't get to 1237 said they are motivated by questions of electability, Trump's capricious campaign style, and personality. Well, there you have it. Another Republican, this was from New Hampshire, said, I am firmly in the never Trump camp. The GOP gets killed if he's a nominee. We probably get killed if he doesn't support a different nominee anyway. So if it makes no difference to the eventual outcome, my conscience will be clear going down with a responsible. So these guys are prepared to lose, exactly as I knew it. I have been forecasting it. These people are prepared to lose in order to save the establishment. Make no mistake about it. And by saving the establishment, they are saving themselves personally. They are willing to lose the presidential election for personal reasons, is what these people are saying. Now, I don't want to sit here and go, yeah, I told you so, but that's exactly who these people are. They owe their very existence to this establishment, to this club, whatever you want to call it. It's where their daily existence is. It's where their future is. It's where their standard of living is. It's where their power is. Everything that tells them they're special. Everything that tells them they are the elite. And they are willing to hold on to that structure, even if it means losing the White. Listen to this guy. Hey, look, if we're going to lose this election anyway, I want to lose with a clear conscience, meaning I want to lose with somebody I could support rather than lose with somebody I don't. But they're still talking about losing. That's the thing here that is inescapable. You know, I ran across a story. It's from McClatchy. It was published yesterday. And I was frankly stunned to see this. I mean, McClatchy News, they're way. I used to work for McClatchy. That's who owned the Sacramento radio station when I first went out there, Sacramento Bee. I mean, they are. And they have a story, America to Establishment, Who the Hell Are You People? By David Lightman. It's datelined out of St. Louis. But, folks, it sounds exactly like a combination of a bunch of monologues from this program over the past couple of months. It details who the establishment is, why they are the establishment, how you get in, how you can't be thrown out, all of this. It details, but more importantly, it nails why people resent the establishment and why they've had it, why they're no longer buffaloed by. One of the examples given in this story, Republicans and Democrats alike are asking, who in the hell would pay Hillary Clinton $250,000 to do a speech? And why won't I get paid $250,000 to do a speech? They know full well what this is. They know full well. Let's say Goldman Sachs. She did a number of speeches for banks, and her going rate was $250,000. When it came out, the Hillary camp tried to say, hey, that's just what they offered. Well, that's not what we asked. Of course they offer. They're buying you, Hillary. She admits they're buying her. But more importantly, you know what else this is? This is how members of the establishment help keep each other wealthy. It's how they keep each other established. It's how they keep each other in the game. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. This is purchasing loyalty. This is buying influence. Because there's no way Hillary Clinton ought to get $250,000 for showing up and doing a 20-minute speech, a closed speech to a bunch of bankers. And she won't release the transcripts of these speeches, and I'll tell you why. And she demanded that transcripts be made. She won't release them because she's praising them to the hilt. Meanwhile, most of the people voting for her hate the banks, hate Wall Street, and she can't afford for it to become known that the banks and Wall Street are pretty much bankrolling the Democrat Party. Not just her, but the entire Democrat Party structure. This idea that corporate America and Wall Street and big business and so forth are all part of the Republican machine is just BS. It hasn't been the case in years. And it's worse than the fact that just they support Democrats. There is now very narrow, if it exists at all, line of distinction between government and business. They're in bed with one another. The only way Obamacare could be happening is if the hospitals, the insurance companies were bought in. And there's no way they would in a legitimate free market circumstance. But if you're going to offer me access, if I'm an insurance company or a hospital, you're going to offer me access, and you're going to pass a law mandating every American has to buy my product, hell yes, I'll give you a campaign donation. And Mrs. Clinton can't afford for her voters, and certainly crazy Bernie can't afford for his supporters to find out just how in bed corporate America, Wall Street, the banks are with the Democrat Party. And that this story in McClatchy details how people get this. They understand it, and they're fed up with it. And they're being, who the hell do you people think you are? They don't trust them as far as they can throw them. In fact, the story says that the establishment is defined now as Wall Street, Washington, and big media. That Hillary Clinton is the embodiment of the establishment. And practically everybody sees the establishment as incestuous and isolated. And the fact that Hillary gets $250,000 over and over again from this bank, that bank to do speeches. People are not dumb. They know what's going on. There are two things going on. The banks are buying influence with somebody who might be elected president. They're buying influence, somebody who was Secretary of State, still has contacts there, not just at state, but around the world. But they're also, in their own way, contributing to the Clintons' personal wealth. And maybe even further, they're contributing to the Clintons' foundation. Whatever they are contributing, they are making it possible for the Clintons to stay wealthy and rich. And this happens throughout the establishment. This is how you end up getting wealthy and staying without accomplishing much of anything other than becoming a member of the establishment. Stories of what is the establishment? Nationally, 8 in 10 people told a McClatchy Morning Consult poll this month. It includes members of Congress. Similar numbers cited the Democrat, Republican parties, political donors, Wall Street bankers, and the drive-by media. In essence, the establishment lives and thrives in a small world that lives and works in New York and Washington, on Wall Street, in big media, and in politics, connected by the high-speed Acela corridor and often by mutual self-interest. Many do care deeply about the common good, though they are anything but common themselves. They hire each other. They hire each other's children. Another example given in this story, there is nobody under the sun that doesn't know what happens when Hillary Clinton's kid gets hired by NBC for $600,000 a year and has never been on TV before. The story makes it clear that everybody, not in the establishment, the general public, knows full well what that is. That is everything it's buying influence with the Clintons. It's buying into Clinton good graces. It's buying access. And it's helping to make Chelsea Clinton rich. It's helping to keep the Clintons wealthy. And everybody knows their kid couldn't get such a deal. Their kid, who's never been on TV, never had any experience at it, would never be hired by NBC at $600,000 a year. It would never happen. And then when Chelsea is hired, and then the NBC suits go out to what a great find they've come up with, what a great discovery, what a natural talent, nobody believes it.